Washington, U.S. political analyst Eric Ham, who's standing by. Eric, good to see you on this day. Your reaction to a new trade war now between our two countries?
Well, it's getting worse by the moment because not only did Donald Trump ignite a trade war and also end aid to Ukraine, but we're also looking at a looming government shutdown. Congress has 10 days to find a way to fund the government, or we could see even more hurt for the American consumers.
Do you think Americans are paying attention to this trade war? I'm always curious because obviously, you know, Canada, we got about 40 million people. You guys have got well over 320, 330 million. You know, it's a much bigger deal for our economy than it is for yours. What's the buzz?
Yeah, I think many Americans waking up today are going to feel it, and they're going to see it not only in terms of what they're going to pay at the grocery store, but they're also going to feel it in their pensions, in their retirements, their 401ks, given just how we're seeing a precipitous decline in the markets across the board. And Donald Trump is certainly going to have to explain all of this tonight when he speaks and addresses Congress. This is not what Americans actually voted for. This is not what they thought they would get with Donald Trump. They actually thought they would get the opposite. And it's going to be interesting to see how the master marketer actually sells this to a very weary American public tonight.
Our Prime Minister, Eric, has said today in a lengthy news conference that he basically thinks what's really going on here is Donald Trump wants the, quote, total collapse of the Canadian economy because it would make it easier to force Canada to then join the United States if we were in a depression, so to speak. Your take on that? Is that what's really going on here?
I do believe that's exactly what's happening. What we're seeing from Donald Trump is an attempt at American expansionism, and he believes that he has the economy and the economic force to be able to somehow get Canada to submit to his will. The question now becomes, who will actually blink first in this looming trade war? But again, one thing that Canada has going for it is it's not alone in what we're seeing Donald Trump's effort to engage in this trade war. You've got the United States' biggest trading partners that are now feeling the brunt and have all retaliated. And so the question becomes, will it be Canada? Will it be Mexico? Will it be China? Or will it be the United States that will actually decide that enough is enough, and it's time to step back from the brink? We've seen Donald Trump already do it once. He could very well do it again.
Yeah, he's always wily and unpredictable, if nothing else. We're going to show a message that he put out on Truth Social today, up on social media, shortly after our Prime Minister, Eric, talked about retaliatory tariffs. And he says, please explain to Governor Trudeau, again, using that insulting term that he has for our Prime Minister, that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount, exclamation point. Is there a risk that this is going to backfire on the president? And I'm curious where Congress is in all of this. I mean, they're supposed to be a co-equal branch of government, but it seems they've given the playing field entirely to the president.
That's absolutely right. And Congress, particularly Republicans, have basically turned everything over to Donald Trump. In fact, that's why we're seeing Congress now unable to actually strike a deal to fund the government, because what we're seeing here is many actually want those cuts by Elon Musk and Doge to actually be in the forthcoming government budget. But again, what we're seeing here is massive fights. But what Donald Trump wants and what Donald Trump is hoping for is that there will be maximum pain. But again, that pain is going to be felt by many Americans. And we're already hearing from many businesses who are exacerbated by what they're seeing play out. The question is, will they actually grow a backbone and actually push back on this administration?
And does any of that kind of puncture the Trump bubble, Eric, if you know what I mean? I mean, the president's surrounded by like-minded advisors. You know, regardless, he has indicated, look, you know, this is going to be painful in the beginning, but it's going to work out well in the end. I mean, he often uses that kind of terminology, basically admitting, yeah, you know what, the stock market could be hit, there could be some job losses, but this is ultimately great for the American economy because we're going to force companies to put their plants and their manufacturing facilities and their jobs into the United States, leave China, leave Canada, leave Mexico, and come back to the U.S.
That is what Donald Trump is hoping in theory will work. However, what I have heard from a number of businesses is they are now actually looking where they can actually outsource their operations that are particularly in Mexico or other places where the tariffs are not actually having an impact. And so while Donald Trump believes that will work, it's going to be very difficult. Moreover, what we have seen not only from NAFTA and the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement is that the objective had always been to ensure that there was synergy and that there was a regional economy between the three countries, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And that was always the goal. But what we're seeing right now is massive disruption by Donald Trump. And now what we're seeing is, I believe there's going to be some very, very short-term political pain, not only for Donald Trump, but also for his party. And the question becomes, again, will he actually step away from this? Many are hoping that he will.
Eric Ham with his take, U.S. political analyst for us here at CTV News. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
And